Hey guys, in today's vid we're going to show you how to change your battery on a Dodge Journey or a Fiat Freemont. Same vehicle, different badge. Now it's fairly complicated. It's well hidden, the battery, so I'll show you where that is in a sec. There's a few tools you'll need. Is a jack, a hammer, screwdriver, and a socket set. Alright, so they're the tools you'll need. Now first of all, to pop the bonnet, it's well hidden right in the center here. Okay, so there's a little lever there just in the center. You can see that. Tilt it up. Maybe I struggle to find it. Just here. Just there, a little lever. You flick that lever and the bonnet pops. Okay, now as you can see in here, it's mostly all plastic. It's all covered up. The only way you can find the battery is to follow the terminal. So that you got your positive terminal just here. Now just follow those cables down, and you'll see in this one it's hidden in behind the wheel, down there. All right, so a lot of the modern cars are different. Some of them have them hidden in the boot, but this one's hidden in behind the front wheel. I'll show you how to get to that in a sec. So the first thing we do is get our jack, place it under the car, and jack it up, just like you're changing the tyre. Now a couple of things when you're jacking the car up: make sure you're parked on level ground and have the handbrake well and truly on. Alright, could even go as far as chocking the back wheels, just to make it a bit safer. So once it's jacked up, you can unbolt the wheels, unbolt the nuts, sorry. Probably more importantly when you're tightening it up, but just out of habit, even when you're loosening, work in a star pattern. Now what you'll find, after you take the wheel off, I put that under just as a safety precaution. You can put the car on chocks, but I sometimes just put the rim underneath as a safety precaution if you haven't got any chocks at the time. Now once the wheel's off, you'll see inside the wheel arch there's these lugs. They all have to come off. To get them off, put a screwdriver in and just pop them. And then you get your trusty hammer and just remove the pin just like you would remove a nail. It's probably the only time you use a hammer on a car, but in this instance it's the easiest method, best method I think. Oops. I'll work my way around all those. Okay, now once you've got all the lugs off, just basically slide this out and you'll find the battery hidden in behind here. Alright, now this looks like a fairly new battery. Reason being I just recently replaced it because the old one was buggered. Now there's this little wire just here which needs to be really firmly connected. Now, if that's not firmly connected, you'll have problems with the car. It will turn off while you're driving. Very dangerous. Okay, so make sure that's well connected when you're putting it back. Now to take the battery out, you undo this bolt here and you undo the terminals, unplug this and take the battery out. Alright, so like I said, I did that the other day. This was the old battery. You can see it's worn out, well worn. Now once your battery is exposed, to take it out, two spanners. So you've got a 13mm spanner and a 10mm. Now because it's such a small fiddly space, I recommend the ratchet spanners. They work the best, otherwise you'll cut your hand to pieces like I had to do on the side of the road. Right, so undo that. That's basically the bracket that holds the battery in. When you're putting it in, make sure it's nice and tight so the battery doesn't move around while you're driving. Alright, can you see that there? Once that's out, that pops off and we can get to our battery. This piece here is on an L leg, so you just turn it to the side and it comes straight out. Okay, so just put that aside somewhere where you won't lose it, just so you can get to the batteries. Now, so first thing I did was unplug this, put it away to the side so it doesn't get damaged while I'm taking the battery out, and then I can just lift the battery straight out. I'll just lift the battery out like that. Okay. Like I was saying, bit of a wire brush. Give it a really good clean so your terminals are grabbing power. All that old oxidization stuff, just get it off. Ooh. Clean the battery up a bit, your new one, just so you got a good connection. And whack it back in the same way. Now there's not much play on the cables inside the car, so you have to get these the same angle as you took it off. So if you took it off like that, put it straight back on like that. Little tip, saves you a lot of headaches trying to stretch the cables or take it back out again and move it around once you've got it out. Nice and tight on the terminal. Okay, now that's the positive. The negative is still inside the car. It's got all that computer connected to it, so I've left it in there, but this one I've taken off with the terminals. Alright, we'll whack it back in now. Bit fiddly. Oops. Make sure you don't arc that out. Try not to arc it out on any metal parts while you're doing it. I know it's harder, easier said than done. There's not much room at all. Now the bolt, make sure that's nice and secure again so the battery doesn't move around. And one thing I do, I generally finger tighten everything until you've got everything connected. Now the reason I say that is you might have to take it on and off a few times as there's not much room at all. Alright, so put the negative on, and the positive. Whoops. Oops. Alright, a little bit more advice. Just make sure you have your keys next to you, because the alarm, if the car was locked before, your alarm will go off once you connect the fresh battery. Alright. Now once the battery's in, make sure you plug this back nice and tight. So it's got that switch at the back. Plug it in first, nice and tight, and push that locking pin in at the back. And like I said, we've drove with that not plugged in and the car turned off. Lights, brakes, steering, everything turned off. So just make sure that's well plugged in. So like you've seen, there's a lot of work to change the battery on this car. Before you put it all back together, just make sure it actually works. Alright, nothing worse than putting the wheel back on, putting it all back together, and then you find you haven't got a tight terminal and it doesn't start. Alright, that's it. So now we'll whack the wheel back on, and that's how you change a battery. Okay, so to put it all back together, we get our lugs and our cover. And you can see where it was before. You just line it all back up. Get your lugs, push them in, and then lock them in position. I'm just working your way around. Push the lug in, and then locking it in. Locking it in. Once you've got all the nuts on, they're only hand tightened at this stage, just enough. Because what I do is once I lower the car back to the ground, that's when I tighten them all up in the star pattern. Okay, so that's on. Lower the jack. And now in a star pattern, we tighten it up. Like that. Working opposite each other. That's it guys, hope you found this useful. Hope it gets you out of a jam. Enjoy.